While the UK is known for its rich pop culture and iconic movement, we're not saying that Aussies don't like their music. They do. But Lewis noticed that us Brits have a deep passion and sense of musical identity that's part of people's lives, and it's quite different from what we have experienced in Australia.
Good evening, Sydney! How we doing out there? How we doing out there? Can we see some hands in the air on this one?
In Sydney, we have been to so many concerts, and we will show you some snippets later, plus something that we use daily which is related to music and originated from Lewis's hometown of Maidstone in England. Music has been a huge part of our lives, from a school child to now, and we'd know who was number one and who the latest bands were. Although this has changed slightly with the advent of streaming, the UK music industry is still globally influential. Music, fashion and art combines into pop culture and has always been part of British life since the swinging 60s with bands like the Beatles and Rolling Stones. Glam rock and punk in the 70s with new romantics in the 80s. Britpop in the 90s and even today with UK funky and UK hyperpop. If you were to visit Liverpool, it won't take long to see references to the Beatles, and there are reminders of music everywhere in London, from the Abbey Road crossing to David Bowie plaques, or even the location for the album cover of What's the Story? Morning Glory. Music festivals like Glastonbury attract hundreds of thousands of people every year. Such is the love for music in the UK. In Australia, the famous Big Day Out music festival was cancelled a few years ago because of poor ticket sales. But there are still some great music festivals such as Splendour in the Grass and the Byron Bay Blues Festival, which both happen to be at Byron Bay, one of our favourite places in Australia. Related to the UK's love for music is the surprising fact that the UK has always been a leader in high-end audio equipment with revered companies such as Quad, Tannoy, Wharfedale, Cord, Lynn, Kef, Minirigs, Celestion and countless others. When we were in the UK on a holiday, Lewis toured the Kef factory and design centre with his brother, which happens to be in Maidstone in Kent, the town where he was born and grew up.
So we're measuring a reference. As you can see there, that noise carries all frequency.
Kef produces innovative speakers, and he found it fascinating to see the high-end speakers being hand-built and said it was just mind-blowing to hear just how good music can sound. I remember in the 90s in the UK, the whole country was caught up in the buzz of Cool Britannia and Britpop, from the cutting-edge fashion and provocative art of Damien Hirst to the rivalry between Blur and Oasis. Looking back, it was an amazing time to be alive. Music is always evolving, and Matt Wilkinson on Apple Music Radio is a great source to discover new talent. He is based in London and plays a lot of new music from the UK and the rest of the world, and he has a fondness for new Australian acts too. One thing we have done more often in Australia is to see live bands whenever we can, with local bands and artists playing in RSLs and pubs. Also, Australia is well served by artists from all over the world, as it usually is a key date on world tours. They will play in stadiums and arenas in Sydney and other major cities. We have seen many artists in Australia, from U2, Muse, Robbie Williams, Radiohead, Noel Gallagher and Goldfrapp. We have even seen Simply Red, Beth Orton and Laura Marling at the Sydney Opera House. Another great Australian group we saw were the Rubens. We were not familiar with them, but now we are huge fans. The best show we have seen is Coldplay, who we have seen twice, as they put on an amazing show. We have been so lucky to see AC/DC at the Sydney Olympic Stadium. It was an amazing experience and they did not disappoint.
Together, we're gonna make some rock and roll. And the party starts right now. Let it go.
Recently, Lewis treated himself to some KEF speakers, and they are our best speakers we've ever had. So it feels nice to have a product designed in his hometown in our living room so we can listen to the music we love. In conclusion, we may miss the buzz of the UK music scene, but in Australia we can more than make up for it with our great lifestyle, going to concerts and listening to music with our beautiful KEF speakers. Thank you for watching Lewis and Bonnie's Australia, and please subscribe as it will help us grow our channel.